The figure of 8 lashing is used for making a tripod, and you will need 3 spars for this. And the way that you lay them out is as I've shown here, with the thinner ends of the spars together and the bottom ends, which are the thicker ends, they're the ones that are going to be on the ground. They need to be out at the end. And our figure of 8 lashing is actually going to be tied on this overlapping section. And you kind of have to imagine fitting the lashing evenly between these, so whatever space you leave here needs to be the same amount of space that you leave at the top of here. So we need sort of to build this lashing sort of somewhere in this space here. So we begin with a clove hitch on one of the outside spars, and we'll make sure we give ourselves a little bit of a tail. So here's our clove hitch. And then we twist that tail around there so that it can become part of the lashing that we're about to do. And what we're going to do is, as I say, a figure of 8 lashing, and you'll see why it's called this, although it's kind of a figure of 8 with an extra loopy on the toppy. So we go, this has sort of come over, so we go under here and over here, and then as we come back we're going under, and my spars are less than ideal because they're very, very spiky because I stole them out of my garden rubbish. Over and under. Now some people will sometimes put a little chock or spacer in the gaps here just to keep these apart a little bit. Mine have got sufficient spikes and I've got enough sort of rope making the space there. We need a little bit of space in between the spars. So we keep doing over and under and over and under and over and under. Sounds like Sesame Street, really. And away we go. Oops, over and under and over and under. We want to do this about 8 times. It may depend on our length of rope that we have. So around, and say, just drawing 8s with extra loops on them. Oops. My rope's all getting tangled up all over the place. So, and my middle spar's being a bit rambunctious as well, which just means it's being naughty. So around we go, and as I say, we want to get about 8 of these done. And more importantly, perhaps, we want to make sure that we've sort of got the same amount of space left at the bottom end as we have sort of at the top end. And yeah, I still need a little bit of a way to go. This should be tighter too. The spars I have are really less than ideal, but this is what you do. You make do with what you got. Okay, so let's go a little bit further, like that, and a little bit more, and around. Away we go. We don't have to, we should pull reasonably tight, but we don't want it, we've got to leave a bit of space to put some frapping turns here. So we need to make sure things are not totally jammed up against each spar jammed up against each other. So I reckon we're getting close to how many we need, and I'm running out of space anyway and running out of rope. So let's get back to the beginning so it's kind of even. Here we go. All right, and I've reached here. So there are all my figure of 8s done, like that. Not the most tidy job I've ever done in my life, but there you go. Now what we want to do is frapping turns. We want to put a couple of frapping turns on the rope between here and here, and on the rope between here and here. So we're going to do some loops in these gaps here. So because this rope's going down here, I'm going to bring it up at this end, and this is where we now can start putting a bit of tension onto things like this. Okay, like that, with a bit of tension, loop like that, and away we go. Wrapping turn number 2. So lots of tension there, get things really tight, and then just loop under here so I can move into the next gap. And again, pull really tight so that I've got tension on that wrapping turn, and away I go, and I do 2 more wrapping turns on this one. Okay, and oops, there we go, bit of tension, and the last wrapping turn, get it round to the end like that. Okay, given the length of rope I've got, I could possibly put another wrapping turn on, but I'm just going to finish up. We've just finished up with 2 half hitches, so around and through. Oops, like, whoops, did that badly, didn't I? Around and through, and tighten, make sure this is jammed right up against here, and another half hitch around and through. And that is your figure of 8 lashing. And the next step is to turn this into a tripod. And now we just lift it a little and then cross the 2 outside spars over each other, like that, and lift it up like that, and position things to make your tripod. Now my spars aren't very long and there's a little bit too much force happening here, so it's a bit springy, but if you're building an actual tripod, you'll probably want to put some square lashed braces along here, which will actually hold the whole tripod in place. And that is your figure of 8 lashing in order to make a tripod.